We didn't plan for it to unravel. For a while, Emily and I floated in a kind of bliss, easy, quiet, effortless. After a year of marriage, an unexpected inheritance hit like lightning, big enough that neither of us needed to work again. Suddenly, time became a luxury we could spend however we pleased. And that's when the doors opened. Not just to new experiences, but to things we never imagined we'd invite in. During one of our lazy evening conversations, I found myself sharing a memory from my teenage years, how I'd transformed myself using my sister's wardrobe and ventured into the world presenting as female. Emily's eyes sparkled with curiosity, demanding every minute detail. So I recounted those adventures with Amber, how we'd strolled through shops and caught a movie as two young women, laughing as I described the persistent attempts of some young men to catch our attention, all ultimately unsuccessful. I admitted with a playful smile how thrilling it felt, having those guys completely convinced by my feminine facade. Amber and I repeated these excursions several times, though I always managed to dodge any romantic entanglements, and eventually our cross-dressing adventures faded into memory. Emily absorbed my story quietly, offering little immediate reaction. However, 3 days passed before she broached the subject again, wondering aloud if I'd consider revisiting that experience, transforming myself once more. Reading that familiar expression on her face, the one that silently pleaded, "Please do this for me," I found myself agreeing, though hesitation colored my acceptance. Her excitement erupted immediately. Before I could reconsider, she had measuring tape in hand, declaring she'd need to purchase appropriate items since her petite wardrobe wouldn't accommodate my frame. Emily stands at a delicate 5'2", perhaps 110 pounds, blessed with flowing blonde locks, emerald eyes, and curves that turn heads. In contrast, I measure 5'7", carry about 140 pounds, sport brown hair trimmed to collar length, and possess ordinary brown eyes. While she embarked on her shopping mission, I retrieved the few photographs documenting my feminine alter ego, wondering how age might have altered that illusion. The transformation process consumed 4 exhausting hours, but gazing at my reflection revealed a mature version of that long-ago girl. The undergarments created an impressive 36C bust line, while the waist cincher sculpted my middle to a trim 26 inches, complemented by 35-inch hips. The polka-dotted shirtwaist dress, crimson fabric dotted with white, accentuated these new proportions perfectly, while modest white pumps completed the ensemble. My hair had been styled with feminine flair, and cosmetics had worked their magic, altering my features dramatically. The woman in the mirror could have been a sister or distant relative. Emily guided me to our sun-drenched patio where we shared cold beers, letting warmth seep into our skin. Settling into my chair, I discovered an unexpected comfort in this feminine presentation, surprised to find I actually appeared rather attractive. Emily's initial reaction consisted of delighted laughter and beaming smiles, but her tone shifted to earnest enthusiasm as she painted visions of endless adventures as girlfriends. She pressed me to remain dressed throughout the day, proposing we venture out tomorrow to build a proper feminine wardrobe. The prospect of public exposure made me hesitate, but after Emily positioned me before our full-length mirror, I had to acknowledge my appearance could pass scrutiny. I surrendered to her plan, though not without establishing boundaries. Any comment suggesting I wasn't genuinely female would result in immediate abandonment. My stance was crystal clear. Public humiliation wasn't negotiable. Morning arrived with another transformation session, and despite growing anxiety about my appearance, Emily dismissed my concerns with characteristic nonchalance, insisting I looked perfectly presentable. The lingerie boutique became our first stop, where Emily enthusiastically loaded my arms with delicate items. We progressed through dress shops, shoe stores, jewelry counters, continuing until exhaustion and throbbing feet forced my demand for retreat. That evening brought a fashion show in our bedroom as I modeled each purchase, amazed at how properly fitted clothing enhanced the illusion. Confidence began replacing doubt, Perhaps this adventure wouldn't prove disastrous. I selected a pleated white skirt paired with a scarlet blouse for dinner, joining Emily on our patio to watch daylight fade. "You're absolutely lovely, Brittany," Emily complimented, employing my newly chosen feminine identity. "Properly fitted clothing transforms everything." "Except those torture devices you call shoes practically crippled me," I protested with mock indignation. "They squeezed mercilessly." "Those were my oldest pair. We expected them to pinch. How do your new ones feel?" "Tolerable, I suppose. Definitely an improvement over those instruments of torture." "Would you consider another outing tomorrow?" Emily ventured carefully. "There's an outdoor art exhibition we could explore." Nothing like a crowded bar you could wander freely, blending with other browsers. After contemplating briefly, I agreed to limit our adventure to the art fair. Morning found me assembling another outfit, a brief tan skirt matched with a white pullover and comfortable white sneakers. Emily chose similar casual attire, and after she worked her magic with cosmetics and hairstyling, we stepped into the world together. The exhibition grounds teemed with visitors, yet not a single glance lingered on me as people focused intently on displayed artwork and potential purchases. We enjoyed a leisurely lunch, wandered through every corner of the venue, even acquired several pieces that caught our fancy. Our journey home included an early supper at a charming bistro before returning to our sanctuary. Once those initial moments of pure panic subsided, and I recognized my complete invisibility among the crowds, the entire experience transformed into something unexpectedly delightful and entertaining. That evening found Emily and me nestled beneath our covers, engaged in quiet conversation, when she posed an unexpected question: would I embrace Brittany's identity throughout the summer months? She pressed forward before I could formulate a response, elaborating on our endless free time and proposing that daily feminine presentation would allow us to participate in community service organizations. Her reassurances flowed freely. We'd remain inseparable companions, and given my convincing appearance, why not at least contemplate the possibility? The suggestion left me speechless, lying motionless beside her until she began trailing kisses along my neck, effectively redirecting my thoughts from feminine attire to more immediate desires. Dawn brought Emily's casual observations about the minimal adjustments required for authentic female presentation. She suggested eliminating facial hair, perhaps dropping a few pounds, selecting appropriate attire, and adopting suitable mannerisms. Her confidence in the simplicity of this transformation far exceeded mine, yet I found myself agreeing to explore the possibilities. That's when she produced a carefully compiled folder of resources. Examining the contents revealed advertisements for laser hair removal, body contouring procedures, breast augmentation services, plus various beauty salon offerings. Meeting my gaze, Emily launched into her persuasive campaign, starting with facial hair elimination, hardly dramatic, she argued, and it would reduce makeup requirements significantly. The logic seemed sound. Permanent beard removal would eliminate daily shaving rituals entirely. She methodically addressed each option with rational, measured arguments. When I encountered breast enhancement information and immediately rejected the notion, she flipped several pages, revealing photographs of women engaged in various club activities, particularly beach gatherings, where natural feminine curves were unmistakably evident. Despite my resistance, I placated Emily by promising consideration. Shortly after dressing, she whisked me to my inaugural laser session. The discomfort proved minimal, and remarkably, nearly half my facial hair vanished within hours. We spent the remainder of that day relaxing at home, though Emily mentioned she believed I could manage adequately without surgical enhancement, which somewhat eased my apprehension. During subsequent weeks, laser treatments eliminated all traces of beard. Despite considerable trepidation, I consented to subtle body contouring, a procedure redistributing abdominal fat to enhance hip and posterior curves. While accepting a trimmer waistline came easily, the prospect of permanently fuller hips and buttocks caused hesitation. Only my growing appreciation for feminine presentation convinced me to proceed. My first attempt at wearing my original jeans proved shocking loose around my newly narrowed waist, yet straining across enhanced curves. Emily's sympathetic expression accompanied her offering of comfortable sweatpants, noting I now understood countless women's fitting challenges. Subsequently, with her guidance, I applied cosmetics, styled my hair, donned a padded brassiere, then ventured shopping for better-fitting garments. Why, I questioned internally, had I allowed such persuasion? Yet each mirror reflection provided the answer genuine satisfaction with my feminine appearance. This differed vastly from those teenage adventures with Amber. Those had been playful experiments. This represented something profoundly different, and I recognized the distinction. Together, Emily and I selected numerous undergarments in my altered measurements, along with jeans, dress pants, and shorts. During our homeward journey, I privately acknowledged my decision to pursue breast augmentation, though I kept this revelation secret temporarily. The excitement of feminine presentation, combined with the convenience of natural curves, felt liberating. Yet I understood the permanence, regardless of clothing choices. My silhouette would forever display rounded hips and a fuller posterior. Skirt wearing, once an occasional adventure, had become commonplace. Our intimate relationship maintained its passion with added intensity. My transformed figure seemed to ignite new desires in Emily, resulting in encounters that left us both delightfully depleted, an outcome I certainly welcomed. Emily gradually transferred makeup application skills to me, demonstrating her personal techniques until confidence emerged after several practice sessions. That's when she proposed visiting her preferred salon for professional hairstyling and manicure services. Though Emily merely offered the suggestion, my own reflection confirmed what had become increasingly obvious. Continuing this feminine journey would require professional hairstyling. 3 days of contemplation passed while I weighed the decision, yet throughout that period, not a single piece of masculine clothing had touched my body. Skirts and dresses had become my daily uniform, their flowing fabric far more comfortable against my still healing curves than restrictive denim. The surgeon had advised at least another week before complete recovery, and during this healing period, my self-perception shifted increasingly toward the feminine. When I finally asked Emily to schedule the salon appointment, the magnitude of this step wasn't lost on me. Standing before the mirror, examining my transformation, I found genuine pleasure in this feminine presentation. The exhilaration of each new experience, my altered appearance, combined with Emily's obvious appreciation, all confirmed I was following the right path. Yet one significant element remained unaddressed, its permanence keeping me hesitant. Thursday morning arrived with my salon appointment. Emily delivered me to the entrance, insisting she'd rather I make independent choices without her influence, explaining that hairstyle selection represented deeply personal expression for any woman. Samantha, my assigned stylist, invested considerable time exploring options, utilizing style portfolios to preview potential results. The entire process consumed nearly 3 hours, and while heat worked its magic beneath the dryer, another technician transformed my nails. Observing her apply acrylic compound, sculpt each extension, file them to perfection, then paint them with glossy polish felt like witnessing the final sealing of my masculine identity's coffin. Yet genuine happiness radiated from me as I specified length preferences and selected an elegant shade. My former male identity had ceased to matter. Only our mutual happiness, Emily's and mine, held importance now. My naturally wavy brown tresses retained their original shade, though Samantha wove auburn highlights throughout, before enhancing my natural texture with additional curls. The resulting pageboy style perfectly framed my features, soft curls cascading around the back, while delicate bangs kissed my forehead. The transformation was absolutely stunning, and I'll readily admit to falling in love with my new appearance. After Samantha processed my payment, I waited outside for Emily's arrival. Standing there, I became acutely aware of passing men's appreciative glances, casual, evaluative looks that despite my exclusive interest in Emily, sent thrills through me. Their attention confirmed I'd successfully passed that unconscious assessment men apply when observing women. Emily appeared minutes later, her face illuminated with delight upon seeing me, praising both my color choice and selected style. We proceeded to lunch, settling by a window to observe passing pedestrians. "You mentioned," I began carefully, "that having natural breasts would facilitate wearing certain clothing styles, yet I don't notice many women displaying obvious cleavage. Is it truly that essential?" "Brittany," Emily responded with a gentle exhale, "I explained that involvement in local charity functions might be simplified with natural breasts. Such events typically require elegant evening wear, and at our stage of life, gowns revealing modest décolletage are rather expected. But if memory serves, I also mentioned you could manage without them." Her response offered no guidance whatsoever. Perhaps I sought her directive to pursue augmentation, which would have shifted some responsibility from my shoulders. But she left the decision entirely mine. "What prompted this question, Brittany? Are you seriously considering it?" "Observe me carefully." My voice rose slightly with emotion. "Really look my hair, these nails, my enhanced figure, then suggest I shouldn't contemplate completing this transformation." "You're absolutely beautiful, honey," Emily soothed. "But what truly frightens you?" After inhaling deeply, I confessed, "Will your love endure?" Beyond the obvious anatomical difference, I'd possess every feminine attribute except, you understand my meaning. "Yes, darling, I understand completely," Emily replied, her fingers intertwining with mine. "And absolutely, my love remains constant, though its expression will evolve. You know how your undressed form affects me. Imagine the intensity when you possess breasts. You'll experience identical sensations, share those feelings, while retaining the ability to participate fully." Following lunch, I declared my decision to pursue augmentation for wardrobe versatility. We located the most reputable surgeon available, and after thorough consultation, my procedure was scheduled merely 2 days hence. Once more, Emily remained neutral, allowing me to determine proportions with professional guidance, limiting her input to essential medical inquiries. Those intervening 48 hours passed anxiously before I returned for surgery. 6 hours later, consciousness returned to find my chest securely wrapped in protective bandaging. Following recovery, someone remarked that we formed an attractive pair of companions. "We're actually married," I protested instinctively. "Naturally we are," Emily responded, her smile gradually widening. "But that's knowledge we can't share publicly, can we? 2 women bound in matrimony? Society isn't quite ready for that revelation." Emily settled beside me on the sofa. "Darling, within these walls, our marriage remains intact, but beyond our doorstep, we must present ourselves as unattached women." "I understand the necessity," I admitted reluctantly. "It's simply that—" "Jason finds you appealing," she observed gently, "and perhaps you're experiencing some reciprocal attraction, which must feel bewildering. He escorted Vanessa home, so perhaps those two might—" "Doubtful, Brittany. Vanessa's engaged to someone else, so I'd wager Jason will contact you within days, likely suggesting dinner." "An actual date? Me?" Disbelief colored my voice. "That's impossible. We're together. 2 independent women as far as the outside world knows, remember?" That evening, Emily reminded me quite thoroughly of our shared intimate pleasures. Yet Jason defied her prediction. Rather than waiting days, he telephoned the following morning. With Emily observing intently, listening to every word, I accepted his invitation for lunch that very afternoon. I selected a flowing ankle-length skirt, paired with a relaxed blouse and comfortable sandals when Jason arrived. Emily dismissed us with an airy wave, closing the door and leaving me alone with this persistent admirer. He chose a waterfront restaurant, displaying the courtesy I'd anticipated, and surprisingly enough, his humor had me laughing genuinely as he reached across to clasp my hand while sharing amusing anecdotes. Afterward, we drove along the shoreline, eventually arriving at his private club for cocktails before he returned me home. Anticipating the inevitable, I remained calm when his lips met mine in a gentle farewell kiss. I entered the house with a cheerful wave and bright smile, only to immediately sink onto the couch in emotional exhaustion. Emily appeared moments later, arms laden with shopping bags, her expression radiating satisfaction as she continued toward our bedroom. Following curiously, I watched colorful fabric tumble across our bed in a vibrant cascade. Crimson and ebony, sunshine yellow paired with ocean blue, emerald and pristine white, all tangled together until she separated each piece for display. 4 swimsuits emerged, 2 conservative one-pieces alongside 2 revealing bikinis. She pressed the green and white 2-piece into my hands, instructing me to model it. I quickly undressed and stepped into the bottoms, carefully arranging myself for proper concealment. The top barely seemed worth wearing, leaving precious little to imagination. My enhanced curves were minimally covered at best. Some telltale fullness remained visible through the bikini bottom, though we both understood methods existed for better disguise. Emily donned the red and white combination, and standing together before our mirror, the similarities between our figures became strikingly apparent. Catching Emily's reflection, I noticed moisture gathering in her eye. "What's troubling you?" I inquired softly. You appear so... You make me feel like a... What are you attempting to express, Emily? You're absolutely stunning as a woman, igniting desires I can barely control, but I hadn't anticipated when we began this journey just how alluring you'd become, especially with your transformed figure. There's something more? I pressed, dreading her response. Jason's pursuing you earnestly, and eventually you'll surrender to temptation. You know that's not my nature, Emily. Perhaps not initially, she continued sadly, but study your reflection honestly and deny that Jason won't attempt seduction. He won't succeed, I declared firmly. I won't permit it. Men possess remarkable abilities to persuade us against our better judgment, Brittany, she offered with a melancholy smile. I'm not that foolish, Emily. He'd discover something unexpected, and then what? Risk physical violence? I've met someone, Brittany, she announced abruptly. A vice president who's invited me out this evening. She hesitated before continuing. We both require male companionship for social functions, and since you have Jason's attention... Her composure shattered as tears overwhelmed her. I gathered her trembling form against me, while sobs racked her body. Her meaning became crystal clear despite her attraction to my feminine persona and enduring love. She craved masculine strength, wanting a man's embrace, his touch, his tender caresses. Gazing at my reflection revealed no remnant of my former masculine self, bringing deeper comprehension than words could convey. We'd maintain our bond, while each seeking male companionship. As her crying subsided, I tenderly wiped away tears, took her hand, and led us onto the sun-drenched patio, pausing only to retrieve cold beverages. Unspoken hung the acknowledgement that another man might share her intimate company. While this prospect brought no joy, I understood better than expected, having essentially become female myself. My appearance, scent, mannerisms, even taste, probably matched any woman's. I possessed the figure, the face, plus an interested suitor. Her gentleman caller phoned that evening, and during their conversation, I retreated to our bathroom for necessary grooming. If Emily sought masculine comfort for fulfillment, then I needed to ensure no inappropriate contours betrayed my secret. An hour's careful attention eliminated every masculine trace from my body. Donning a silken nightgown, I retreated to the guest bedroom for solitude. Lying there in darkness, I pondered the paradox of our relationship, how 2 people could share such profound love, yet require others for complete satisfaction. Jason's kiss had sent unexpected shivers through me, though I'd dismissed the sensation as merely the excitement of unfamiliar territory rather than genuine attraction. Later that night, Emily slipped beneath my covers, her palm gliding along my hip before ascending to cradle my breast. Her gentle manipulation of sensitive tissue drew me from slumber, prompting me to turn and meet her lips while my fingers sought her center of pleasure. Her exploring hand mirrored mine, traveling downward until she discovered an unexpected absence. Her sharp intake of breath preceded my decisive action, rolling her onto her back, parting her thighs, and bringing her to climax before she reciprocated with equal intensity. We remained side by side through dawn, but morning found me relocating my wardrobe to the guest quarters. Neither of us recognized how completely feminine identity had crept forward to claim me. Our mutual devotion remained unquestioned, yet I'd grown to embrace womanhood in nearly every aspect. As Emily correctly observed, beyond our home sanctuary, we must present ourselves as available women. This reality initially terrified me, knowing I'd need to navigate masculine interactions using skills entirely foreign to my experience. While I could acknowledge an attractive man aesthetically, deeper engagement would leave me floundering. Only my masculine memories could serve as guidance, woefully inadequate for this new reality. Emily possessed every advantage a lifetime of feminine experience to reference. Should circumstances demand, she could engage with a man intimately without trepidation. Standing nude before the mirror once more, examining how adhesive and careful arrangement had crafted convincingly feminine anatomy, I recognized no visible distinction between Emily and myself. My palms cupped these prominent symbols of womanhood, the features that drew masculine attention and fundamentally defined my transformed identity. Long moments passed in silent contemplation before I covered myself with panties, shorts, and a casual top. Internal conflicts raged as I questioned my willing participation in such dramatic changes. Then clarity struck. I had personally requested every modification. Emily had merely presented possibilities, leaving each decision entirely to me, choices I'd embraced enthusiastically. In pursuing our shared excitement, I'd voluntarily transformed myself completely. While preparing morning coffee, understanding dawned that this transformation had satisfied some deeply buried aspect of my psyche, previously unrecognized and misunderstood. Amber had introduced me to feminine expressions pleasures during youth, but I alone had charted this course toward complete womanhood. Emily, despite proclamations of love that remained genuine, had developed needs for authentic masculinity that I could no longer provide. Jason's image materialized unbidden, that confident smile, impressive height, undeniable handsomeness, making me wonder why his presence triggered such feminine responses within me. Before our meeting, I'd never viewed any man beyond friendship's boundaries, yet he'd somehow exploited vulnerabilities I hadn't known existed, and affection for him had taken root. This represented our domestic crisis, our enduring love complicated by her need for masculine companionship and my inability to be anything beyond another girlfriend. My feelings remained powerfully devoted, willing to attempt anything for her happiness. Yet glimpsing my reflection brought premonitions of irrevocable life changes approaching. That moment brought recognition that this exceeded mere role play, it represented a fundamental shift in my existence. Certainly, surgical reversal remained possible, removing implants, reducing enhanced curves, but the thought of enduring such procedures, again, held no appeal. More importantly, I genuinely appreciated my appearance. Being female fulfilled me not through intimate encounters, but through internal satisfaction. Reaching this conclusion lifted enormous burdens from my spirit. With fresh perspective on my identity and circumstances, I felt myself genuinely becoming the woman I appeared to be. Emotional turmoil resolved. I finished my coffee, returned to fasten a bra properly, then departed on an errand designed to end this masquerade permanently. The physician provided both my requested prescription and a specialist's referral, someone who could assist during the waiting period. Several hours later, leaving that establishment, absolute certainty filled me that neither Jason nor any other man would ever discover my original identity. The specialized prosthetic had been crafted to enable intimate encounters while remaining completely undetectable, a temporary necessity, until hormonal treatments could complete the surface transformations I'd already undertaken. Departing that specialist's office, my self-assurance soared to unprecedented heights, though I recognized the inevitable conversation with Emily would risk not only our bond, but virtually everything we'd built together. Finding the house empty upon my return, I changed into a revealing two-piece swimsuit, mixed myself a cocktail, and reclined poolside to await her arrival. Their entrance announced itself through Emily's distinctive laughter, intertwining with deeper masculine tones, followed by playful giggling and footsteps ascending toward her bedroom suite. Our complicated situation grew increasingly tangled, yet remorse eluded me entirely. Another fulfilled Emily's needs, a reality that might once have ignited furious jealousy, now merely registered as confirmation that at least one of us had found completion. Our relationship's swift deterioration belonged to neither of us exclusively. Rather, it stemmed from our mutual exploration of my feminine nature, with my eager participation bearing primary responsibility. Reclining with my drink, contentment washed over me, knowing I no longer competed for her affections without possessing the essential masculine equipment. Eventually, they discovered my poolside presence. Emily's complexion flushed crimson, while her companion radiated satisfaction. Rising wordlessly, I noted how the bikini's clinging fabric outlined my new anatomy's convincing contours, causing Emily's eyes to widen in recognition. After his departure, she confronted me. "Would you explain how you've managed to appear so—" "No, darling," I responded with a knowing expression. "That information remains mine alone. Between us now, as far as our relationship extends, I'm simply another woman sharing your home." Sitting upright, meeting her gaze directly, I grasped her hand. "Emily," I continued evenly, "you've just shared intimacy with that man while I relaxed here in the sunshine. Study me carefully now and convince me that I still ignite the passion I once inspired." Silence accompanied her visible deflation. "Sweetheart," I pressed on, "we embarked on this journey together, but we both recognize I must complete it independently. Full transformation represents my only path forward, doesn't it?" Her continued silence paired with further slumping confirmed my assessment. "I consulted a physician today, Emily. I've initiated the process to finish what we began. By Christmas, my transformation will be complete." Her eyes widened dramatically as I strolled into the shade, pivoting to face her directly. "We both understand I'm correct, don't we?" Tears overwhelmed her, but I maintained my position. My own tears had fallen earlier, shed in solitude during her romantic interlude. Now her emotional release seemed appropriate. The inheritance had been mine alone. This house, my childhood home, she understood perfectly who controlled our circumstances. Once composure returned, I presented an exceptionally generous proposal, which she accepted without hesitation. Legal documentation materialized within 24 hours. 48 hours later, her signature sealed our separation, and she vacated my residence permanently. Our complex situation had erupted into unforeseen catastrophe, an outcome neither anticipated nor desired. Yet our attempts to enliven mundane existence had severed our fundamental connection. During her final departure, I embraced her firmly despite her waiting companion with the moving vehicle. The house echoed with emptiness, yet paradoxically, liberation coursed through me. My limited wardrobe prompted therapeutic shopping excursions, expanding my modest collection into an enviable feminine arsenal. Attention then shifted to another unresolved element requiring closure. Jason. When I woke, Jason was already dressing slowly, without a word. His eyes skimmed over me with quiet satisfaction. Then he left, trailing the scent of aftershave and the echo of male contentment. I stayed in bed, not a woman, not a man. Something in between, broken, rebuilt, broken again. In the bathroom, I didn't recognize myself. Lips swollen from kisses, hair tangled. The body, beautiful, terrifying, alien. I brewed coffee and stood in the kitchen wearing the same silk robe that now felt more like a remnant of the night than comfort. When the phone rang, I answered on autopilot. It was Amber back from her travels, full of life. She didn't know what she was coming home to. But I did. Emily didn't return that night. The next morning, a suitcase sat silently in our bedroom. We barely spoke. Her eyes said it all. Regret, affection, sorrow, but not love. Or maybe love, just no longer for me, not for who I had become. "You look complete," she whispered. I nodded. I was. Finished. Not whole, just final. She left. I didn't cry. I stood barefoot at the door, watching everything I had called us drive away. The doctor gave me everything I needed. Prescriptions, a referral, even a gentle miss in my file. I thanked him and walked out without looking back. The wind tugged at my skirt, but I didn't flinch. I had chosen. This was my truth. Passing a storefront, I saw my reflection. A woman, strong, alone, irreversible. I smiled not from joy, from recognition. What we thought was play had become life, and life isn't about returning. It's about walking forward, even if you walk it alone.